And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Hello and welcome to the BMW Kart Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from Motorland, Aragon, for race number 9 of this winter season. The drivers dealing with some wet conditions here tonight. This is a new feature in iRacing, and we're excited to bring you tonight's race to see how these drivers can deal with the slippery conditions. We're taking a look at Clint Fletcher, as he's currently quickest in qualifying with just over 5 minutes left in the session. My name is Adam Baker, and I will be your commentator here tonight for Team V Speed. Thank you for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. This is the second to last race of the season, and looking forward to a great show as always. A little shorter field tonight, including our points leader not being here, which could shake up the standings just a little bit as we are headed into the finale race next week. We'll take a look at the points. Right now, we'll pull those up on the screen. After race 8, Andy Schiel with his 5 wins currently sits atop the standings, but not here this evening. Darin Treakle in second with a race win back in week number 1. Going to be trying to close that gap right now. Currently is 5th fastest in the 13 car field tonight, so could gain a few points on Andy, who is not here this evening. Brian Kennedy has had a great season as well. He's 3rd. Dean Tulane, Michael Pavolano make up your top 5. Harley Lewis, Clint Fletcher, Adam Pohl, Perry Duncan, and Matthew Gazenda amongst the top 10 in this field in the points coming into tonight's race. Looking forward to a fun night of racing here at Aragon, and if you're not familiar with this racetrack, you're not alone, as we will actually take a look at the track information. This is Motorland Aragon. 3 miles in length, 16 corners. We've got a 9-mile-per-hour wind. As you can see, wet conditions on the racetrack. Going to be a little bit tricky. It says clear sky. I think it has cleared up for just a moment, but it was raining pretty lightly here for a little while just before we got things going. And again, some more information about tonight's race. 2 20-minute race format where they're going to do a heat event, and the top 12 will invert. So in a 13-car field, only one driver going to be left out of that invert. And then they'll go into the feature race and see who can capture the win from there. As we are just a few minutes from the end of qualifying, let's take a look at the times up on the board as we're getting close to that time to get going. Do want to give a shout out to tonight's sponsors. That's going to be Gunfire Games, Matt Motorsports, Duncan Racing Designs. You can check out all of them in the video descriptions. Also the great sponsors of V-Speed, that is Keo, Visible Mobile, Butt Kicker, and so many other great sponsors and great leagues shown here on the channel. You can find us on all different social media platforms throughout the week to stay up to date with what we're doing right here on YouTube. Multiple leagues each and every night. And we are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. We do want to thank you all so much for your support, and the growth of the channel just has been immense, and we're so thankful for it. So thank you for tuning in each and every race. Looking forward to some fun rain racing here tonight. As see if we can go on board with maybe Clint Fletcher, who up until just a few moments ago was the fastest in qualifying, and I think what we're going to have to see here is how he attacks some of these corners. You can see down there on the bottom right track map. Hard on the brakes there. The track's starting to dry up just a little bit, but you can see the grip just not there. And as he gets back to the throttle, the back end's starting to swing around on him, but he's able to control that. And right there, able to cross the start-finish line. We'll follow along with him for a lap as he goes down into turn 1. Hard on the brakes. Back to the right for turn number 2. This track, a very difficult technical track, especially in the rain. But looking pretty good right now as he closes in on Bruce Wiley, currently 7th quickest. But you can see just that confidence, and there goes Bruce, losing the back end under braking. And if you overdo it in the rain, that is going to be what happens. And how you approach a corner that's got pooled water like this one, if it's not too deep, you can go right through the racing groove. But if it gets a little bit deeper and a little bit more slick, you're going to actually want to go outside the racing groove because the water runs down the track, and each of these, even with just a little bit of banking, is going to have the water pool to the inside of the racetrack. So you want to avoid the standing water to avoid hydroplaning and losing grip, and try and find the driest position on the racing surface. As we are going to go to the race session now for the heat race. Take a look at where your favorite drivers are starting here tonight from Aragon. Rolling off in terms of qualifying time, it is going to be Maddox Razzo quickest on the scoring charts here with a 2:04.738. Look for Maddox to maybe go out there and take the win here tonight. Clint Fletcher going to be rolling alongside. They are going to be the ones at the back of the invert, so they'll be starting back in 11th and 12th. But in terms of qualifying time, they are one of the quickest. Cole Jordan starting 3rd. In terms of qualifying, Brian Kennedy 4th, 5th, Darin Treakle, Dave Hines going to be 6th. 7th is Bruce Wiley, 8th Colin Kortnick, 9th is Adam Pohl, and Matthew Gazenda 10th quickest in the qualifying session. 11th is David Curtis. Scott Kim in the 12th position, so he'll start up at the front of the field for the heat race. And then it's going to be Carlos Bonds in the 224 rounding out the field tonight. In terms of qualifying times, cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for. Who do you think's going to win here tonight at Aragon in the rain? Is it going to be one of the fastest cars in qualifying, or is it going to be someone else who figures it out along the way? Maybe Adam Pohl, who we haven't seen in a little while. We'll see if he's able to come back out here and get a win for the first time in this winter season. And again, we do want to thank you for joining us here on V-Speed and hope you enjoy the race tonight. It's going to be an interesting one. I have never called an iRacing race in rain. I've only seen a few people play it online over the last few days since they released the update. So it is a challenge, that is for sure. It's a challenge in real life, and no doubt it is going to be a challenge here in iRacing as well. And another thing to watch out for is going to be the spray coming off the tails of these race cars. It's really going to affect the cars behind. Even here under pacing, we'll go on board with Adam Pohl. And you can see that is already somewhat diminished. As here we go, green flag in the air. We're off and away from Aragon for race 9 of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Already side-by-side racing action throughout this field, 2-3 wide at moments there, and drivers towards the rear trying to figure this out, try and find their way forward. It looks like the spray is pretty minimal at the moment, so it's going to be pretty good news for those drivers further back. But with Darin Treakle, big run right there. He's going to close up to the back bumper of, that is David Curtis, as they try to battle for position. That is that 5th and 6th position up there on the screen. Bruce Wiley behind them, battling with, that is Dave Hines. Put Fletcher also right there in the mix. Those guys battling towards the back half of the top 10. And a little contact. Clint Fletcher able to hang on to it though. Big moment for him. That is even trickier to save when it's wet. Every little bit of contact is going to be exaggerated that much more, but they live to race on. And it's still Scott Kim leading the way in his Ferrari machine. Really nice job on the opening lap by Scott Kim as he's going to go deep into the braking zone here. Hits the apex nicely. Colin Kortnick keeping right in his wake. Then it's Adam Pohl and Matthew Gazenda battling for that 3rd position as they come back around to the start-finish line to complete lap 1. It is still Scott Kim. Great job on the opening lap. And now Pohl looks driver's left. We've got a car sliding, spinning further back. That's Carlos Bonds. Taking a look right here at the replay. Just lost it. Able to get it back rolling. We go back live. He is pointed in the right direction once again. Battle for the lead going to be brewing, but Bruce Wiley, David Curtis also battling. Keep an eye on these top 2 side by side. Scott Kim, Colin Kortnick fighting for the top spot here at Aragon, nose to nose. And here comes Adam Pohl closing in his camouflaging green Porsche. 3 different manufacturers up here at the front of the field. The BMW of Colin Kortnick going to nose ahead for the moment. Scott Kim tries to get back on the power, not able to do it in time. Move the 32 up to the race lead. Now Scott Kim losing positions. Here comes Matthew Gazenda in that bright pink and black machine. Darin Treakle right there behind as well. Darin, a race winner already this season, gonna go for the big send down the inside. He'll be able to take the spot away from Gazenda and Scott Kim. That's a 2-for-1 special into the corner by the number 70 of Darin Treakle. As it is Colin Kornick out in front trying to lead a lap, but Adam Pohl has other ideas. Here he comes, charging alongside drivers left. Gonna have the advantage down into the next corner. It is a drag race to the braking zone. And who is gonna hit the brakes early enough? And it looks like Adam Pohl goes wide. He goes too deep into the corner, not enough grip, and he'll lose his opportunity for the race lead. He's actually gonna have to find some traction as he slides over that paint, and that is really tricky to do that. And Darin Treakle now going to slide into second position as they have gone single file out behind them. Scott Kim, Matthew Gazenda right there as well. Look for Clint Fletcher to continue making his way through the field, already up 5 spots. Maddox Razzo also up 5 positions, 2 quickest cars in qualifying, climbing through the field. Still 3/4 of this heat race left to go. And it is not raining all that much right now. Very light spray from the cars in front, and you can see some sunlight even coming out in the distance. And issues for David Curtis, not exactly sure. I believe there was an incident. Let's take a look if we can find that. We're taking a look back here at the replay. Not seeing an issue with David right now, but looks like all good. I think we've had an issue though. Clint Fletcher has gone around as we go back live. Let's take a look at the replay. He was battling with Matthew Gazenda. This is Clint Fletcher, the bright machine, as he tries to shoot the gap and then gets hooked there. I think that was Dave Hines, possibly. He made contact with? No, that may have been... I'm not exactly sure who that was. Take a look back. Clint Fletcher trying to shoot that gap. That was the 7-Eleven. Oh, Scott Kim. Yeah, Scott really couldn't have done anything differently there, but interesting situation to be put in, to be shot 3 wide like that. As we go back live, things have settled back out somewhat. They're still single file nose to nose. Or nose to tail, rather. Got Kim here in the 6th position. Colin Kornick out in front with about 2 car lengths over Darin Treakle, charging hard behind. You can see if you just overshoot the entry to a corner, you think you have a little bit more grip in these cars than you actually might. With Darin Treakle, Adam Pohl, they are on the move. Colin Kornick, big slide there. Also big slide for Treakle. That could open the door for second. As there is Maddox Razzo, Matthew Gazenda also trailing behind. They're trying to catch up to the top 3. And the battle for that race lead is on, and there goes Treakle with the send down the inside. Gonna take the lead away. So Treakle to the top spot, up 7 positions in this race. But it is all but over. Maddox Razzo continuing to charge up 8 positions already. I think Darin's gonna try and run and hide at this point, see if he can get as many points as possible and have a shot at the championship going into the final race. And Scott Kim struggling for grip further back, gonna get passed up now by Dave Hines. 6th and 7th swapping hands. The battle for the lead. Treakle, Kortnick, Adam Pohl right there as well. We battle for second. Colin Kortnick hanging on to it, has now lost about 1.2 seconds from the race leader, Darin Treakle, and second, third, fourth under a blanket. That is Pohl right there sandwiched in the middle, and Razzo catching up. Fastest car on the track by a good margin, almost 1.5 seconds the previous lap. And that's what we'd expect to see from driver quickest in qualifying, and has made a good name for himself here the last few weeks. Not quite able to get the job done there, and every single corner that goes by that he cannot make a pass, that gap grows more and more to the race leader Darin Treakle, who's starting to drive away from these three. Colin Kortnick defending nicely. And the rain's starting to come down a little bit harder now. Colin Kortnick trying to defend. Here goes Adam Pohl. Going to look drivers right. Not going to be able to get alongside. Back to the throttle goes the 32. Able to keep control. And this is getting much heavier. The spray picking up. You can see the rain starting to fall that much more heavily here at Aragon. We'll see how that affects your race leader Darin Treakle, who's currently unaffected by traffic. He's got clean track out in front, trying to drive away hard on the brakes, and this is where people are going to start to have issues, is where they had grip earlier in the race where the track was a little bit drier. They come up over the final corner. It's still Colin Kortnick leading this pack of 4 cars. As Matthew Gazenda's caught up, looks like maybe a change of hands for the 9th position. And Clint Fletcher is going to take that one back. Adam Pohl with problems there in turn number 1. Lost control of the race car, went off the track, and able to slot back in line now in 4th, but fell from 2nd. And Scott Kim made a charge there alongside Clint Fletcher, not able to get it done. And here comes Brian Kennedy, a name that we haven't talked about much in this race, but a driver who's shown a lot of flashes of speed and strength throughout this season and in seasons past with multiple race wins. So Brian just getting accustomed to the wet weather, it appears. And most of these guys as well. Lap times really falling off now, almost 5 seconds off of the fast lap times at the start of the race. Battle for third, that is going to be Colin Kortnick and Adam Pohl. Maddox Razzo has gotten through, and we'll see if he is able to close up with 8.5 minutes to go. Bruce Wiley has had a problem here on the racetrack. Looks like maybe just lost the back end all by himself. Yep, and that is the case. Just lost the back end. Round goes the Canada flag adorned Ferrari machine, and he's going to have to get it pointed back in the right direction. And it looks like he has done that, battling it up with Scott Kim now. Or rather, that is David Curtis for the 11th and 12th position. The top 2 have gotten away. Razzo has closed up just a little bit on this last lap, but still remains to be seen if he'll be able to get there. And this battle behind those 2 also raging. We've got a 3-car fight for position. Hines, Gazenda, and Jordan all doing battle here. 5th, 6th, and 7th. And how about Adam Pohl, Colin Kortnick side by side down into turn 1. Maybe a little bit of door contact, but Adam Pohl is going to get on through. He'll get onto the podium. For the moment, you see further back, Clint Fletcher goes wide in turn 1. Cost himself, I believe, a position there. Brian Kennedy in the 8th spot. And Maddox Razzo has closed up massively. His car is spinning behind. Dave Hines around. That is Colin Kortnick. Ooh, Colin lost it all on his own, and there goes Dave. And you can see the 52 of Gazenda gets into him. He was starting to lose the back end as well. And I think something similar to that happened with Darin Treakle. Maybe a few corners ago, because he lost a lot of ground as we look at the replay. Not exactly sure, but he has lost a majority of his race lead as we go back live. Everybody else has gotten pointed back in the right direction. Bruce Wiley in 12th is about half second behind Dave Curtis. These two are doing battle at the back end of the field here. Well off the pace. But the rain really pooling up here with 5 minutes and change to go. The top two are well out in front, and then it is Adam Pohl who's cleared his way for third. And if anything happens between these top two, he could be in the catbird seat. Cole Jordan also back there has made it up through the field 6 positions, but these top two, your biggest movers so far, and fighting for this top spot. And it is going to be a battle down into turn 1. It looked like Maddox Razzo was almost going to get there, and he is going to get there. Darin Treakle goes too wide off turn 1. And we'll see if we can get a better look at this from another perspective, maybe the overhead. He went down into turn 1, just did not have the braking ability. Goes well off the racetrack. We go back live, finds himself about 1.5 seconds behind Maddox Razzo, who's now taken over the top spot. Started 12th. They're going to come up to Carlos Bonds, who's had himself quite the heat race, and going to get right out of the way of the top two. But Maddox Razzo has not led a lap yet. Just 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in this race. Up 11 positions. Really impressive stuff from the driver of the 66. First rain race in the league. Darin Treakle doing a good job as well, has led 4 laps up from 8th, now into 2nd spot. Adam Pohl started 4th, in 3rd, has had kind of an up and down race, but ultimately has gained a position. Cole Jordan up 6 spots, from 10th to 4th. Matthew Gazenda back from 3rd to 5th. Clint Fletcher started 11th and now battling to get into the top 5, and he will take that spot away. Brian Kennedy going to move up to 6th position after starting in 9th. Matthew Gazenda back to 7th now. Scott Kim going to be in 8th position after starting 1st. Did lead a lap. Really nice opening lap from him. Battling with Dave Hines. Started 7th. Currently back in the 9th position. Colin Kortnick rounds out the top 10 after leading a couple of laps in a really strong first segment of this race. Bruce Wiley in 11th, David Curtis in 12th, and Carlos Bonds, aforementioned there, goes a lap down, still right around these lead lap drivers in the 13th position, right where he started, and really struggling out here in the rain tonight. But luckily keeping that Lamborghini out of the way. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast and the race tonight. Some new features on screen for you. Hopefully a little bit more information as we've got a battle for 3rd place. And there goes Cole Jordan around, well off the track. Just a little too hard. In the number 3, loses the back end, goes for a big slide, ultimately keeps it out of the gravel trap, and that is a big benefit. That would be really hard to pull out of there, especially in the wet conditions. Able to get back rolling, only lost the 3rd position. Now Brian Kennedy and Clint Fletcher fighting for 5th and 6th. This has been a battle that's been going on for, I don't know, probably about 5 laps now. These two have been coming through the field. And they've caught up to Cole Jordan. These three could have quite the fight. Get up there into the top 5. Maddox Razzo still hanging on to the race lead. We're coming to the white flag next time. And Darin Treakle has found a little bit of speed here over the last half a lap. He's gained about a half second. Still trying to find his way around here in the rain, but doing a nice job. Darin with a lot of real-world racing experience. I know a lot of these drivers have that as well. Many members from the National Capital chapter of the BMW Car Club of America, as well as the Ohio chapter. And white flag gonna be in the air here at Aragon. Maddox Razzo leading. And Darin Treakle trying to track him down in the rain. These two having a good battle here tonight in the heat race, and we'll see what the conditions look like as we get into the feature. Darin oversteps it just a little bit, but able to keep control and actually gained quite a bit right there. That was a nice controlled slide. And this is not over yet. Coming down to the last few corners on this racetrack. Cole Jordan's had more problems. He's gone around same corner, it appears. This time actually did get into the gravel and covered those rear tires in the sand. Gonna have to get rolling and clear those off. Maddox Razzo holding on to the top spot by about 4 or 5 more corners in this race. Obviously, these two drivers don't have a problem coming through traffic. Treakle from 8th to 2nd right now. Maddox Razzo from 12th to 1st. As they're going to go into one hard right-hand corner and then back to the left. Then it's a bit of a straightaway into the last section. Treakle will get a little bit of a slipstream here, but I think it's going to be just a little too far. We'll see if he's able to close this gap up into the final turn. Maddox Razzo is running an incredible race, trying to shield off from the 70 of Darin Treakle. And Darin not able to mount a charge there through that corner. They come through the final turn. It's going to be Maddox Razzo up over the crest and taking the checkered flag in the heat race. Darin Treakle 2nd and Adam Pohl solidly in 3rd. Able to keep pace with those top 2, if not run a little bit faster. Definitely a driver to keep an eye on in the feature event. We've got a battle for position further back. Clint Fletcher was able to take 4th away from Brian Kennedy. And it looks like Scott Kim and Cole Jordan swapping positions there in the final moments as well, as they all pilot in here to complete the ritual. We'll take a look at the race results. Maddox Razzo, your heat winner here at Aragon. What a fantastic race from 12th to 1st. Darin Treakle, Adam Pohl, Clint Fletcher, Brian Kennedy, Matthew Gazenda, Dave Hines, Scott Kim, Cole Jordan, Colin Kortnick round out the top 10. 11th is Bruce Wiley, 12th David Curtis, 13th is Carlos Bonds, as he is still coming towards the finish line. Gonna wrap things up there. We're gonna head to our halfway break and we will be right back with the feature event. From the starting line to the finish line and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, Trading Paints, or via email. Matt Motorsports is a sim racing rentals and events company. We supply businesses and individuals with sim rigs for all types of events, from birthdays and bachelor parties to team building retreats and corporate events. We have packages to suit all types of occasions. Founded by an automotive industry veteran and BMW lover, Matt Motorsports' mission is to spark joy in current and future car enthusiasts. Learn more at mattmotorsports.com. This season of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League is brought to you by Gunfire Games, developers of the hit game Remnant 2, now available for PC, PS5, and Xbox. For more information on Remnant 2, visit www.remnantgame.com. Back live at the racetrack now here at Aragon. You can see the water is still on the racetrack, but the sun is shining, so that is a good sign, at least for the start of this one. We'll see how things go from here, if we are going to stay dry or if it'll start coming down once again. The field back onto the racetrack though, getting ready to get things kicked off. It's going to be David Curtis. Let's take a look at where your favorite drivers are starting here tonight. It's going to be David Curtis rolling off from the front row. It'll be Bruce Wiley alongside Colin Kortnick, Cole Jordan, Scott Kim, rounding out the top five. Dave Hines in sixth, Matthew Gazenda seventh, Brian Kennedy going to be starting in the 8th spot here tonight. Clint Fletcher rolling off from 9th. Adam Pohl starting in the 10th position. Darin Treakle, runner-up in the last race, starting in 11th. And starting in 12th, Maddox Razzo. Carlos Bond's going to round out the field here and looking for a better result after the initial heat race. We'll see how these drivers are all able to improve now that the track conditions may be a little bit more favorable. Who do you think is going to win tonight's feature race at Aragon, the penultimate race of this winter season? The BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Pace car makes it on the pit lane. And green flag out here at Aragon for the feature race. Still a little bit wet, but everybody able to get through turn number 1, no problem whatsoever. And now the battle is on further back. Look at the sun shining off of these race cars. Some water spots also. Really nice detail by the iRacing team to add something in like that. Obviously, really stepping it up with the graphics every single time they do a release. As we've got battling in the midfield right here, Dave Hines looking on the back bumper of Cole Jordan. It's still a little bit slick out here, but the rain not actively coming down. And a little touch there. Clint Fletcher able to hang on to it, but gonna lose some momentum and lose a spot or two. And there goes Scott Kim. That was a close call. Almost got caused an accident possibly as Treakle, big slide at the back of the field here, maybe overestimating the grip in his Porsche, and he'll fall to 13th. Tail end of the field. Brian Kennedy under fire from Maddox Razzo, the winner of the heat race. And Maddox trying to make quick work of these cars further back in the field, already up to 8th position after starting in 12th. Keeping an eye on the top of the field as well. It is 3 wide, battling for the race lead. Bruce Wiley, David Curtis, Colin Kortnick. Wiley with the advantage. They're going to come hard into the braking zone. And going 2 wide there, that was Cole Jordan. Well off the racetrack. And that could be a penalty. But losing a spot to Dave Hines no matter what. Bruce Wiley able to take over the top spot. Already a race winner this season. And battle on for second. Dave Curtis takes it away from Colin Kortnick. And this is getting hairy up here. We've got the leader now trying to pull away. And 5 cars under a blanket right behind. And then you've got Maddox Razzo closing in. We'll have 6 or 7 cars, possibly even more, all under a blanket in the next few laps. This could get very interesting. The battle for third, Dave Hines, David Curtis, the Dave and Dave show, and they're going to make a little bit of contact into the corner there. Still battling. And side by side they go through this twisty bit of the racetrack. Nobody able to gain an advantage, and meanwhile the top 2 are driving away, and there goes Dave Curtis. He's going to take the spot. And Clint Fletcher going a little bit wide on the exit right there. Maddox Razzo, these 2, remember, fastest in qualifying. Clint had his share of issues in the heat race, but now that it's dried off a little bit, I think it could very well come down to these 2 fighting through the field to go up there and race for the win. Bruce Wiley, though, a formidable competitor here in the league and already a race winner, as mentioned. Got the advantage of that clean air out in front as the field single file, nose to tail. For the moment, just content to run where they're at down the straightaway. We'll see if any moves get made down into this tight corner, and there goes Clint Fletcher. Gonna look alongside Cole Jordan. Rather, that was Maddox Razzo in the red machine. And another lap in the books. There goes Clint now. Going to look back again. Driver's left, but the door slammed in his face. There goes Maddox. Going to look down to the inside of Cole Jordan. And side by side, still Dave Hines and Dave Curtis. That battle gets settled out pretty quickly here. Just 15.5 minutes left to go. And this clock takes down so quickly here, especially in the beginning stages of these races, and then the later laps feel like an eternity. As and there goes Cole Jordan around. Just got on the brakes a little bit too hard, did a little too much of the curb, and I think just spun out trying to stay off of Dave Hines. They made a little bit of contact, pointed the wrong direction, but able to keep it out of everyone's way. And it now gets back rolling back to the 12th position. Not where you want to be early on in the race. Look at this big run from the 1 of Dave Hines. Now looks driver's right. Try and take the 3rd position away, but not going to have the speed there. Maybe even used a little too much of the racetrack and had to back off. And here comes Maddox Razzo, already up 7 positions, trying to get his 8th. And gonna do it just through that stretch. And here comes Clint Fletcher right along with him, the 2 Porsches nose to tail. A little bit of contact right there as they work over the curbs. Just over 14 minutes left in this race. Wow, what a fun night here of racing in the rain, as it is starting to come back down. And Dave Hines with a big run on Clint Fletcher. Going to try and take it down to the inside stretch here on the straightaway. As Maddox Rosso going to make the same move on David Curtis. Seeing that it's going to get wet, trying to make up as much ground as possible. Well, there's still a little bit of dryness left. But interesting to see how it's transitioned from sunlight to rain in both races. Just under a patch of clouds here. Clint Fletcher will get the big send down to the inside of David Curtis, but not able to complete the pass. That's going to hold them both up for a little while. And Clint actually has to tuck back in line. But now trying to find a way around, knows that the car to beat is right up there in front of him and forcing his way through. Hasn't completed the pass yet. Dave Curtis really diving down into these corners. And they're going to be touching doors through that section. Brian Kennedy right there behind. Look how far the 66 is now. 1.5 seconds up the road and tracking down your top two. Colin Kortnick and Bruce Wiley showing the way. And there goes Colin. Remember, he led some laps early on in the heat race and defended very nicely. But Maddox Rosso has made even more ground up more quickly in this race. Further back in the field, Adam Pohl, Matthew Gazenda have been battling. That's a 10th and 11th. Darin Treakle in 9th. Remember, he had an early slide running towards the back of the field. And has not been able to keep up with the 66 as he's climbed through the field. And now we've got wet conditions. So this is going to introduce a lot of mistakes. Remember, these guys are really new to these types of conditions. Look at that, even through that corner, going very wide are the top two. That allows Rosso to close in just that much more. Clint Fletcher hoping that they get to battling and he can get up there and track down the top three. I tell you what, he's just about there already. Perfect job under braking that last time, closed up about 3 or 4 car lengths. And he is there. It is that quick. Got Kim, Adam Pohl, 9th and 10th further back. They are doing battle. Matthew Gazenda in that gaggle of cars as well. You could throw Darin Treakle into that mix. Further up, nose to tail. Bruce Wiley still hanging on, but how about Brian Kennedy? What an improvement from race 1. He's really figured this rain out. He's up here in 5th. Right up with the race leaders and the fastest cars in this race. And here comes Clint Fletcher challenging alongside. Gonna go down drivers left, able to take the spot away and move to 3rd. And now big run on Colin Kortnick, who's gonna get really squirrely. And perfect pass right there. And that is gonna hold up the 66 of Maddox Rosso just a little bit. And actually gonna get forced a little wide into the dirt, trying to get back on track. Couple mistakes by Colin Kortnick. Remember, started the race very similarly last time, very strong. Started to have small mistakes as the rain came in. You just got to be very cautious with these kind of conditions. You can't push the car too hard, because the track just will not forgive you. You don't have the grip. But what a battle side by side as they come through the final corner. That's going to be Rosso taking 4th position back away. Rather make that 3rd. And Bruce Wiley in trouble here, possibly. The 2 fastest cars in this race are now right behind him. Good to see Aaron and Perry here in chat. Great drivers in this league. And now battle for the top spot. Bruce Wiley has it, but he doesn't have the ability to hang on to it. That is going to be Clint Fletcher taking the top spot. And now can the 66 come through and try and put up a battle for the race win? But really, Clint Fletcher has figured something out here. Made a few mistakes in the first race, but was really fast. Trying to get his first feature win of the season after becoming a new father as well. And we have Brian Kennedy around. What happened to the 77? Trying to see if there was some contact, maybe going to stay off the 32 and then just caught too much of the curb. Car goes around, noses into the guardrail. Not able to get it spun around immediately there. We go back live. It is still Clint Fletcher out in front. The gap 2 seconds over Maddox Razzo. And Bruce Wiley has fallen back to third position after leading oh so many laps. They'll have to hope for mistakes from the top two or find some pace in that number 67 machine. But it's the 6 and the 66 out in front in the rain. And Bruce Wiley back to third. Colin Kortnick starting to close in on him. And then you've got Adam Pohl, Dave Hines not too far behind Pohl. Then Darin Treakle's made his way up to 7th now, continuing to collect points for that championship battle. Not going to necessarily be as productive as he thought it might be coming into the race, but still going to be points gained on Andy Schiel, who's not here tonight, and going to take another drop week. Andy has really been the class of the field. 5 wins this season. Not being here tonight, though, opens the door for someone else to grab a victory. And either one of our top 2 would be new winners. Bruce Wiley in 3rd has already gotten a race win. Darin Treakle in 7th has a race win. But there are your top 2 as they make their way around this long sweeper, and then you got to wait a little while for Bruce Wiley and everyone else coming with him. And this is where it is going to get spicy. Back in this section of the track, hard on the brakes. We're keeping an eye on those top 2. Gap still about 2 seconds. 5 minutes and 55 seconds to go. It should be 3 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line the next time. Is it going to be the 6 or the 66 taking the win at Aragon tonight? In the wet, putting their name in the history books of the league as the first wet race winner. And also collecting their first win of the season if either of those 2 go to victory lane. How about Bruce Wiley hanging on to 3rd still? The battle is on for 4th. Adam Pohl, Colin Kortnick, side by side. They send it off into the corner. Colin gets a little bit squirrely on the inside groove. Going to lose the position and also lose one to Dave Hines. And the rain really coming down now. You can see it is even heavier than it was for parts of the first race. And just no grip when you get back on the throttle. And cars have gone around. That's Darin Treakle and Cole Jordan. Keeping an eye on what happened here. It was Cole Jordan going around and actually just collected the back end of Darin Treakle, and that is so unfortunate. Darin was having a good climb through the field late in this race, and this is going to cost him valuable points in the championship battle. Clint Fletcher has increased that race lead. He's now up to almost 4 seconds, so a moment for Maddox Razzo, the heat winner in our race tonight. It is still far from over. There'll be 2 laps to go. And they get back to the stripe. And we got Dean Tulane in the chat as well. All the guys who couldn't make it out to race, they're in here in the stands watching in the rain. Battle is on for the final step of the podium. Is it going to be Bruce Wiley? Is it going to be Adam Pohl? And there goes Bruce off into the entrance of the pit lane. Oh my goodness, just gave it away right there. Let's see if we can go back and find out what happened to Bruce. He just lost the back end. Yeah, just lost the back and hit the wall really hard there as well. Unfortunate moment for the 67. As we go back live, he's had to bring it down pit lane to the attention of the crew. And it's Clint Fletcher out in front. It is all Clint Fletcher out in front by almost 5 seconds now, as Maddox Razzo really lost some speed here in the closing moments of this race. Battle's not over for third, though. Adam Pohl has it. Dave Hines just about a 1.25 seconds behind, has been just as quick, and Adam Pohl starting to struggle with connection. We might have just lost him. No, he's back now. 5th and 6th further back. Also battling for position, Colin Kortnick, Matthew Gazenda trying to track him down, and he got a nice run out of that corner. The gap will shrink just a little bit more. Just a few more corners and we will come back around to the white flag as Clint Fletcher, Maddox Razzo, top 2 on the stretch here, but Clint Fletcher is really driven away. It looks like the rain has slowed quite a bit, but it's probably not going to be enough. White flag in the air for Clint Fletcher. 1 more lap to go for the new father, making his return back into the league after a couple of weeks off. Good to see him back, and he's going to try and cap things off with a race win. How about Maddox Razzo, though? What a run tonight. Has to be the most positions gained of anyone. I mean, 10 more positions gained in this race alone. Fastest in qualifying, wins the heat race, and going to come up 1 position short of the sweep, which has only been accomplished a couple times in the past, and only until this season it had never been accomplished. As he's still struggling a little bit here late in the going, but plenty of margin to give up to 3rd place Adam Pohl. How about further back, though? David Curtis, Scott Kim, they're side by side. This is just inside the top 10. Ryan Kennedy out in front of them. It's Darin Treakle closing in, and these are valuable points. Could be championship implications for Darin if he does not get these 2 positions. And he's had really good speed, but just some mistakes and being collected there in that incident have cost him valuable time and positions. He did get 2nd place in the heat race. And how about Clint Fletcher? The sun is shining, and here he comes towards the final corner of the track here at Aragon. Clint Fletcher started 9th. He's led 4 laps. And you can tell he's excited, swerving down the straightaway, gonna go into the corner here, just can't overshoot it by much. And he's going to be perfect through that one. 1 more to go. It is going to be Clint Fletcher at Aragon taking the win in the rain. And Maddox Razzo going to be able to come home in 2nd. What a run from the 66 tonight. How about Adam Pohl? That is 2 podiums in the rain. And really good speed from the driver of the number 11, Dave Hines, in 4th. Great run for him as well. Colin Kornick, 5th, trying to hold on over Matthew Gazenda. He'll be able to do that. Yes, only just. And then Brian Kennedy, David Curtis, going to finish in 8th. Scott Kim and Darin Treakle trading position. So Darin going to come home in 9th. Scott going to come home 10th. Bruce Wiley trying to hold off Carlos Bonds. These two at the back of the field, fighting for the final position of drivers still on the racetrack. It's Cole Jordan in the pit lane in 13th. That's where he'll finish. But Bruce Wiley, Carlos Bonds trying to settle it for 12th. And it's going to be Bruce Wiley, who had 5 laps in this race, going to come home 11th. Carlos Bonds in 12th. And what a race tonight here at Aragon, as Clint Fletcher, your race winner, and the drivers continue to pile in to turn number 1, as is tradition here in the league. What a fun night of racing from Aragon in the wet. Let's go to our race winner already here tonight. That's going to be Clint Fletcher. See if we can pull him up into the booth. Talk to him after what a fun night of racing. Let's see if we can find Clint here. Hey Clint, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy? Hold on, I think I got to switch my headphones here for you. All right, now I got you. But wow, what a night of racing here, Clint. You were so fast all night long, and with the changing conditions, a new experience for everybody. But you really got a handle on it there in that feature race and drove away to a very strong, dominant victory.
Yeah, I mean, that first race, it was my mistake. I shouldn't have been falling so close to the slower cars in front, and I just totally misjudged their braking zone. So that was unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely new stuff for all of us, right? It's a completely different way of racing. What was it that you learned out there through the first race and partway through the second race that you were able to capitalize on and ultimately come out here and take the win?
I think just setting up for the exit of the turns would really help with powering out and able to get a good run on people. That's majority of how I did the passes. Just staying out of traction control the most you can, keeping the car straight while braking, and just capitalizing on other people's mistakes.
Yeah, there were plenty of those tonight from all of the drivers here, but you made the least of them when it counted and take the victory tonight. I'm taking a look at where we're going next week to close the season out.
I believe it's the Nürburgring.
It is going to be the Nürburgring. Maybe we'll see some rain there as well. That'll be fun. But how do you feel about going out there?
I mean, that GT4 race was pretty well until my internet dropped. I think I could have taken it maybe back to back, but that track is one of my favorites if we're doing the full course, not the GP. It's probably the course I know the best out of all the sim racers or the sim racing games.
Yeah, that's one that's kind of spanned throughout the ages of sim racing and a fun one to drive for each and every one of us. But man, you put on a great show for us out here. Climbed through the field. You gained 8 spots from the start of this one to take the win in the penultimate race here in the winter season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out my wife for letting me race while she takes care of the baby right now. Harry for the liveries, the guys for hosting this league, and then you for the broadcast.
Awesome, Clint, and congratulations again on being a new father, coming out here and capping things off with a race win. That's got to be a good feeling and good to get out of here faster than anybody else to go back and make sure that they're doing all right. But congrats again, and we'll catch you next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. That is Clint Fletcher. We're going to go now to second place driver. That's going to be Maddox Razzo, who was our heat race winner. Hey Maddox, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
How's it going?
Pretty good, man, and a very strong night from you here tonight at Aragon. You took the win in the heat race. You were fastest in qualifying and ultimately just 1 position short after charging through the field, gaining 10 spots. You come home runner-up, but just describe your night here in the wet.
It was great. We've been waiting for the wet update for a long time, so it's really nice to be able to get out and enjoy it. And it's also nice to be fast at it. I was absolutely terrified before tonight. Gonna come in and spinning on T1 in a big puddle, but no, it was really smooth. And it was really good. Everybody raced pretty clean. I don't think we had really much of any incidents in the first half of either races. So, good on the guys and everybody for keeping it clean and fast.
Yeah, it was really exciting out there, and you could see as it got even more wet, the mistakes would start to compound. But yeah, you guys up there at the front made the least mistakes, able to keep the car straight and on track, and really that's, I think, most important here when it comes to the wet. But was there anything you learned kind of through the first race and the second race, that you'll be able to carry forward in these kinds of conditions?
The outside is your friend. I think every single time that you hang out on the outside and you give it just a little bit more throttle, there's a little bit more grip there than you can expect. And I think I got a couple, especially in the first race in the first sector, that was a good spot there. But yeah, there's a lot of grip if you just take a little bit more risk. But obviously that risk comes with, perhaps a spin or, bowling through the entire grid.
Yeah, definitely don't want to overstep in the rain. It's that much worse than overstepping when it's dry. But you didn't really do that here tonight. You had a very clean and strong race, and you come home second in the feature event. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to you guys. You guys have been great announcers. I go back and I watch every one of the races that I've been in, and shout out to the guys for, of course, holding this together Wednesdays and Thursdays. I mean, it's been insanely consistent with a big crowd and big showing. So I've got no complaints at all, and I'm quite glad that I've joined recently.
Awesome, Maddox. Well, it's great to have you here, and you putting on a great show for us each and every race you're out here, and tonight no exception. Congrats on second place, and we'll catch you next week at the Nürburgring.
Thank you. See you there.
Thank you. That is Maddox Razzo. Let's go to third place finisher here tonight, and that is Adam Pohl, who had a great night as well. Adam Pohl, this is Adam Baker in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
Hi, Adam.
Well, 2 podium finishes here in the wet. Is that what you were expecting? I know it's a new experience for everybody, but a really, really, strong performance from you here tonight.
Yeah, not really. I didn't have a great qualifying, so I guess that meant I had a decent start for the second race and sort of watched people have some trouble in my mirrors behind me, which took the pressure off, and had some good racing with Colin in the first race there to make my way up to third. But yeah, and then the second race, like first part of the race, nothing really happened, just hanging out at the back, and then things started to go my way, I guess, as it got wetter and people made mistakes or whatever, and all of a sudden back in third.
Yeah, and that's, we were just talking with the other 2 podium finishers here, and really that's a big piece of rain racing, is just staying on the racetrack and making sure the car's pointed in the right direction, right? You'll end up with a strong finish if you can do that. And you didn't have any major problems here tonight, and obviously learned quite a bit. But was there anything you can carry forward to other races in these types of conditions?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is getting the car around the corners. Like, seems obvious, but it definitely seems to pay to be a bit more cautious on the brakes, get the car turned in and back on the power so you get a good run out of the corners. It was so easy just to go hair deep, and then all of a sudden you're off in the wet stuff and sliding around, and it wasn't good. So yeah, I guess that'd be the ticket.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of this type of racing in the league, and seeing everybody just continue to improve at it as well. You guys are going to be masters of it before long. But congrats on great runs here tonight at Aragon. We go to Nürburgring next week to close things out. How do you feel about going out there?
I don't think I'll be around for it again, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it should be a lot of fun, whether it's wet or dry. Could be a bit of chaos if it'll be chaos either way, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and wrapping up this very entertaining winter season with a fun race like that. But congrats again on third place here tonight in the feature and the heat race. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to all our new guys who have shown up and started racing with us since I was last on here. It's some really quick guys and fun in the chat, so glad they're joining in.
Awesome, Adam. Well, congrats again. Great performance out there tonight in the rain, and we'll catch you next, if not next week, we'll catch you next season.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
You too. That is your top 3 finishers, as we'll go to our results now. Once again, Clint Fletcher, your race winner. Maddox Razzo going to be second best here tonight, but so many points gained. You know, and a really strong night from him with the heat win, as well as the pole in qualifying, and ultimately just one position short, a couple too many mistakes late in the going here in the feature, but comes home second. Adam Pohl, podium in both races. Very, very strong tonight. Dave Hines, good performance as well. He'll come home in 4th. Colin Kortnick with a top 5 in the feature race. Matthew Gazenda comes home 6th. Brian Kennedy 7th. David Curtis 8th. Darin Treakle able to muster up 9th there in the end. And Scott Kim rounds out the top 10. In 11th, it was Bruce Wiley. Carlos Bonds comes home in 12th. And Cole Jordan, 1 lap down in the 13th position, rounds out the field here tonight at Aragon. We do want to thank you so much for tuning in here tonight at V-Speed. Again, my name's Adam Baker here for the V-Speed team. And make sure to catch us next week for the season finale, as well as throughout the rest of the week. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and stay up to date with what we're doing here on the channel. Lots of great racing from all across the sim, and we will catch you all next time.